She's wonderful. You're all wonderful. I'm just in awe that you're all here. Paul, your music has undone me, okay? And so now I'm going to have trust. So I have plenty of Kleenex for my own presentation today, which is interesting. So thank you all for having me back. And thank you for being a little treasure up here, a little house in heaven, up here in the little hills here in Yucca. So peaceful and serene that as I want to share a little story with you, and I'm happy to be back here. So as I was driving up here, it really was hitting me that, oh my goodness, I'm going up to speak on peace in the middle of the storm. Why am I speaking on peace today in the middle of the storm? And I couldn't figure it out, and then I sat down, I was with Canella, I was driving, and suddenly I started to hear the messages that I was supposed to receive about talking about today being the absence of fear. And so, peace being the absence of fear, no matter how hard, Spirit tests us to show us things that could look frightening, right? Because if we look outside this beautiful temple here, this beautiful sanctuary, and we look into the world and the cities in the world, we go, holy moly, what the world, and then from the angelic realms, they're sitting there going, whoa, they're in the middle of it down there. But we come up here, so I'm driving up here on this journey, just as Paul was describing, like this path to heaven here, of which I have a painting in my sanctuary called The Pathway to Heaven. I'm driving up here, and I'm realizing that, I trust that every time I do a presentation, that I'm shown what I'm to speak about. And I trust it to my very core. And this is kind of funny because I used to be terrified of public speaking, okay, and I had huge issues. But now I welcome it, because it's like a test in my open communication, I guess. But I was remembering a dear friend of mine who was also a speaker. And she said to me one morning, Joan, my biggest fear is that I'll get up on stage and I'll forget my presentation. Can you imagine that? And so I was, feeling for her because I realized that I so trust in Spirit that that's not even a concern of mine because Spirit shows me where we are to go. And when I walked in here and Paul was playing this song about releasing and let going, also had me in tears. It was like, oh my God, my presentation is here. And I'm this is a place of peace. And that's what I want to affirm for all of you. This particular center here is just a place of peace. And 7 years ago, on June 1st, I was called to the desert, June 1st, 2015. And I was told that my destiny would be here, that I would learn to align with the angels and hear the voices with the angels. And I just said, okay, I came here knowing no one. And it's 7 years ago in June. And the day after I moved here, I was named Joan of Angels. And this year, and this week, this month, this particular time, I think since 2022, I realized that it's taken me 7 years to actually be Joan of Angels. A 7-year cycle of stepping into who I am. And that's because in chiropractic, we always say in medicine, every cell in your body is renewed every 7 years. Every single cell is new again. And so 7 year, the 7-year itch, the 7-year cycle. And so we all have a chance to renew and restore almost every 7 years. And of course, we're in the process that whole time. And so what is it like to come up here and say, I'm Joan of Angels, right? Without ego, without humility, but with humbleness. And so all these things I was thinking about as I walked in the door, and by the time Paul played his second song, I was sobbing because he was singing these songs about the pathways to the angels and trusting and knowing that they're calling us home. And peace may be coming from some of the tools and things I can tell you about, but peace really comes when we surrender. Okay, peace comes when we go, not my way, but your way. Not the one that the presentation, all these things that that I created, but the messages and the tempo and the absence of fear by surrendering to our yes. Yes is a huge word. It is huger than we can mean, than we even know, because when we say yes, like tonight I said yes to painting 33 angels, and at the end of that I heard, well, if you say yes, you have to be okay with not knowing the in-between, okay? You know what that in-between is, right? That's that void of, oh my God, God is leading me, I'm in the dark right now, and I just know that the light's gonna be at that end of the tunnel. So that peace comes from the void. It comes from that center of that storm, where we know there's a storm out there. Oh boy, and we know on our planet Earth right now, there is a storm brewing. And I'm not gonna, mix that up, but that's the outside world. And we come here, and we could create a greater storm of peace, a greater storm of light that will so infuse our planet right here in this center of heaven, where we are right now, that will be so bright that it will become, like I call, a generator of light. And you guys know, right, what happens when we're generating light, right? The dark just slips away in fear. And every dark portal is closed, so only that which is for our highest good, not just for each and every one of you, but for the planet itself. For the planet, for the little people, the big people, the trees, the earth, the plants, the flowers, the reptilians, the reptiles, the snakes. We don't know what's for the highest good of this entire planet, do we? No. Only Source, only God, only the infinite intelligence knows. They actually have the plan. Each of us is a little, who here is on Waze? Okay, when you're on Waze, you can see other cars, you see the traps, you see the obstacles on the way. You can see when you can avoid, the traffic, right? They even give you ways, W-A-Y-S, to slip into the W-A-Z-E, so that you can find your way. We breathe, I'm looking at the sign here, we breathe in and then we exhale. So peace is found, okay, by trusting that even this chaos on the outer world is going to go through its cycle. This too will pass. We don't have to like it, okay? We don't have to love it, but we have to accept that that is going on out there, but we are the creators in our own world, and we are creating an island of peace, an island of light, an island of certainty that we talked about already, the absence of fear. And boy, there are so many things to be fearful of. And so, Tracy, can you keep me on time so I can do our meditation at the end, too? Because I'm in another universe right now with you guys, okay? Good. It's so esoterically empowering. So, the way I walk into my way of peace is that I put on a cape, kind of like this when I go out into the world, okay? But I can put it on energetically too. I can use it in my mind's eye. And we're in the year of 222, so you add up the 2 plus 2 plus 2, you get a 6. And 6 is responsibility. And I am, numerologically, I'm a 6 too. And so I put on my cape of responsibility, and I teach my clients to do the same thing. Especially those of us who are in service to the divine, and we are empaths or intuitives out in the world who pick up everything. So it's important to have a cape. So I put on this cape. I encourage you to put on your cape when you go out in the world, and you start to protect your energy. You ask to be a beacon of light. Okay, and I like to do a little process I teach people. I don't think when we do the meditation I'll ground it in, but we send our roots to the earth, we send our antennas to the heaven, and then we are this little beam of light in our cloak of responsibility, our cape. So when other people are out in the world with us and they look at you up and down, they go, who is that person? And maybe they don't like you so much, or they have a weird fear here. Your auric field, okay, it gets stuck on your auric field, but it doesn't get glued in there. Or when you're with those so-called miracle busters who aren't supporting you, just falls onto your cape, for Pete's sakes. So you go home and you shake off that cape, you take it off, and you hang it on the door. All right, you shake it off, you clear it, you put sage on it. You ask to release other people's energies from your own frequency so you can go into your sanctuary and sit down with yourself, clear your field, because I will say this, one way to maintain that peace right now is to really infuse your sanctuary with more love, more peace, more harmony, more crystals. And I woke up in the middle of the night this morning at 4 in the morning and I was having a dream. And the dream was that right next to me or in front of me was a large rectangular table with all of these glowing crystals. It was incredible actually. Like there must have been about 50 of them, rainbow crystals, and they were all glowing. Like they were psychedelic. They were just like doing their thing. And I thought that is who we are. We're crystals, and when we clear our field, when we clear away those things that worry us, those things that trouble us, that keep us separated from that peace within. So I realized that actually the title of my talk, Peace in a Chaotic World, had to do with really finding our center, finding our core, and believing that we're actually here at the most perfect time for us. And that not only are we here at the most perfect time, but we came here with a toolkit. I've been very much on our toolkit, our powers, our superpowers, our gifts. We came here with soul memory of why we're here, what we're here to do, and we're here with all the skills we need to do it. It's in a little toolkit, a treasure chest, that if you could just remember that you're not here defenseless, and remember two things. You were born for this. We literally came collectively, each and every soul who's listening to this, who will listen to us, who is here with us now, and the beings we can't even see, those angels that are with us. We came here specifically to be that peace on earth within the storm that is happening outside of us. So do not let it deter you. Do not feel you have to take a side, upside down, inside out, whatever direction someone says. You got to think this, you got to do this, hold out your arm, don't hold out your arm. It does not matter. The peace has to be within here. That's your world out there, okay? I'm going to go home, turn off the television, and take off that cape, which has been really assaulted in certain ways by that world. If you're an empath, intuitive healer, server, hang it up on that door, drop it, like that, okay? That's my little tease here, you know. I'm going to share a story about that. Drop that right there, and then you're clear. You're just pure. Sage yourself, you know, like do some affirmations, and then you are clear. Yesterday, I co-produced a great event. It was a Kundalini event, and I had the best Kundalini speakers in the world on it, and I was so proud of myself of putting it all together. It was a great event, and I woke up going, this is perfect day, perfect day. So from the very beginning, several speakers changed their program, showed up late. I had to ad-lib and make it look like I was smooth as can be, while I'm frantically texting people, like, where are you? And changing schedules while I'm holding this lecture, you know. Oh my God. But I learned, of course, that you go with the flow, and by the end, I realized, you know, here I was, I had put my schedule together of how I thought the flow should be. It wasn't God's, it wasn't the divine feminine goddess's schedule for that event. But my main speaker, Soraya, who was fantastic, no, I'm sorry, it was Kai Shanti. She talked about her history as a striptease dancer, okay? Sitting in the back, loving the dancers, and she was a striptease dancer, and her partner was a famous rock star, Guns N' Roses, I'm allowed to say that. Her husband was a famous someone else, I can't say that. And now she is world renowned for Kundalini, where she takes people into total bliss. Because why? Because everything in our past was a challenge and lesson and obstacle for us to transform for today. So that should bring you peace. If you're in a difficult period of your life, trapped in a lifestyle that you can't get out of, know that it is there to teach you, and then there is a way. There's a way out. So let's talk about letting go. Okay? So I'm going to ask Paul to help me, and so we can release and let go. All right? So you know the first step to stepping into mastery and using these tools in our toolkit is when we start to release and let go. Years ago, I did an in-person event. I had everyone doing yellow stickies all around them. So let's start by taking a deep breath in and letting it all out. And take another deep breath. Let it all out, and this time, send your roots down deep into the center of the earth. And feel those roots going past the mantle, the surface, the mantle, the rocks, the rivers, the water, the fuel that's in there, the gasoline that is the blood of the earth. It goes through the caverns until it gets to the center of the earth. And at the same time, taking another deep breath. And let's this time extend that crown all the way into the heavens. And seeing that crown, that antenna going all the way up to the heavens as it pierces that veil between earth and the heavens. As you poke your little antenna up there, feel how the air is so different. The smells up there just infuse your senses. So that's right, we breathe through the center of the earth, and then we breathe up into the heavens. Whew. And as we look at our human self down there, we see the humanness of us, that humility that we have, and those fears that we have. So we ask to release those fears, because we know those are the human mind. So right now, releasing anxiety, releasing worry about our future, worry about the past, worry about where we are going as a planetary being. To release the worry, for we know that God has it. We know that which we are seeking, that peace we are seeking on earth, that light we are seeking is within us as we continue to let go of that which no longer serves us, that which were our greatest lesson. So we let go of shame. That shame of us blaming ourselves, that shame of not being perfect, that shame of someone else judging us and criticizing us and putting us, allowing us to go into that dark place. We release each and every cord. We release self-loathing. We release anything we have done in the past that may have brought shame upon us. That was less than we know that who we are. But we know that we were born to remember who we are, to be of service to this planet, to humanity, to use the gifts that we were given as we were here. We know that we were born to release and let go as we remember, and we know the truth about who we are. We are, each of us, an ascended master in a human form. We came here to live those lessons and to step beyond them. We came to poke our head in through the antenna, up through the heavens, so we can be one with that where we come from. We know this to be true, and we walk in peace. For we know That at any moment we can let go of anything that no longer serves us as we step into our destiny, as we open that treasure chest which contains love. It contains our sense of awareness of the world. It contains our compassion, our kindness, our loving heart, our humility, our grace, our abundance, our manifestation. It contains the light of the world, each and every one of us. And so we join together today, extending our light body from the heavens down to that earth, and feel it. Feel your auric field expanding, going up, going down, infusing the planet with this light all around. Mother, Father, God, we are so grateful to be of service in this way. Nothing can keep us from our true destiny. We are the light. So we repeat after me, I am the light. I know who I am. I am that master who came here to hold that light. I walk in peace. I walk in grace. I walk with the hand of the master with me. For I know I am a master. I am being called. And so it is. So guys, I just want to say you can find me at joanofangels.com. I have an upcoming workshop coming up January 6th called Live Your Soul Purpose Now. So if any of you are interested in living your soul purpose now, you can email me at joanofangels.com. It's not on the website yet, but it's available, so just find me if that rings your bell, if your soul resonates to that. It's a 4-week online class, really juicy group. I'm a group specialist. It starts June 6th. And check out Miracle Mondays, guys, on YouTube. And thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I want to sing more.
Thank you.
Oh yes, and I have my book and my oracle decks if anyone's interested too. Yes, thank you. My first trip ever. Never before.
Angel Wings Sower.
That was lovely. Thank you so much, Jim.